Welcome to Photo Finds. I'm your host Kevin Yee, and this week we get started on the monorail going into the Magic Kingdom, where you can see some of the construction of the Grand Floridian DVC happening from across the lagoon. We'll see another shot of that in a few moments. First, we're going to go inside the park. We're at the Fantasyland expansion. You see that the new Dumbo, or the second Dumbo, is now not only got its top, but it's starting to get some of the ribs for where the arms will go into place. We have a couple of shots for you as well of the Seven Dwarfs Mine Coaster, now with kind of a secondary set of pylons you'll see wrapped around the first set of pylons. A little bit of a distance shot there. These first set of pylons are the brown ones. We've been seeing those for a while now, and now we're seeing these gray girder-like ones going over the top of them. Kind of implies there's an interior lift going into this spot here. Here's another shot of the Fantasyland expansion, this time over by Village House, Pinocchio Village House, and more of that back castle wall under construction from, as seen here, from the existing Seven Dwarfs sort of shop. The former Rapunzel area has gotten a new covering, slightly out of focus in this shot here, a new covering for the Merida meet and greet that is to come, and over on the side, you can't see it in this photo, they've got set up a kind of wooden post assembly for their archery practice. And here's that promised shot. Now you'll see some vertical construction of the Grand Floridian DVC. There's a couple of angles of this, so you can see that it's right next to the wedding pavilion. And if I zoom in a little bit on the vertical construction, you'll see that it's already fairly tall on the pylons that have gone into place. This is on the other side of the monorail, so they haven't started vertical construction on that side of the monorail. Now I found myself over at Downtown Disney, and this caught my eye because it's the old logo for Disney Vacation Club here as well as down here. Although if we go around the other side, we'll see that the new logo is now in place in the middle. So it's almost as if we caught this booth in the midst of being transformed from the old to the new logos of the DVC. And It's a Small World. We've got a little bit of minor facade construction going on here, and then behind me, as this picture is taken, this wall has been here for some time, but this section of the wall has not. So the former Skyway was over here, and there was a kind of a downslope, still on stage area here that was also additional stroller parking. That's now all walled off and backstage. So they're really cleared about as much space as they possibly can for that back corner. We're at the Haunted Mansion, and if you're not familiar with this little device, it is the one we've been talking about for a couple of weeks now. It is now called FastPass Plus, formerly called XPass. This is the advanced ride reservations. You do them from home, or at least before you step foot in the park that day. And they've started testing of it in the Magic Kingdom in limited fashion with just a few dozen people per day, it looks like, all coming in on Disney's Magical Express. And they are given a selection of rides to choose from, like choose 3 or 4 from this page, and there's some selections there, and then choose 3 or 4 from the second page, and there's some selections there. And they're given a FastPass card. It's a yellow card, and I'll see an example of it in a moment. And then they bring that card to these devices at the front of the line, and then again at the merge point, just to verify that no one has hopped the line, the same way with regular FastPass, since you don't have hardened tickets. Here we are at Pecos Bills, where this 3D relief of the character caught my eye, only because I was over here noticing these new puppets. Now, these puppets are Buckaroo Billy and a Sue, I've forgotten the Sue's name, that are just kind of like Barker birds, I guess, for the attraction. There's that FastPass ticket I was talking about. So you are handed one of these hard plastic tickets when you sign up, and you use that as your FastPass throughout the day. Now, we are presently at Splash Mountain as this photo was taken. There's no need for FastPass issue machines for this system, but in a few FastPasses around the park. You get Stitches, Great Escape, this one at Splash, Jungle Cruise, and then at Mickey's PhilharMagic, you have these screens where users can bring those FastPass cards, swipe them at these Mickey readers. This is an RFID reader down here. Sort of hold it up there and then get verification of their itinerary, their schedule. Because they don't have tickets, this way they have a digital way to find out when their next attraction is. This is a look into the Sleepy Hollow refreshments where they make waffles, and it was my first time eating one of these dessert waffles, which is ostensibly a Nutella waffle, lots of fruit piled on it as well. Those are great. You got to try them. Pirates of the Caribbean's been having some trouble lately. Within the past week, it's had a lot more downtime than usual, and on the Saturday we visited, it was down for 6 or 8 hours, not necessarily in a row, and the attraction is really struggling. I haven't heard yet what the mechanical difficulties are. Speaking of mechanical difficulties, there's something new here in this photo. I'm not sure if you're able to spot what it is. We're in the Tree of Life waiting area, and as you see overhead, there are all these new nets and netting items, as well as this little plastic covering up the waterfall. What's going on is that the tree itself dropped a 5-pound branch about a week ago into this area, the queue area, and they've decided to put up these nets so that further branches don't just automatically fall on any people. And they've diverted the traffic straight into the theater instead of going through this tunnel and back out and around. So perhaps they're still building over in that corner there, and they've blocked off some things like the Kids Discovery Zone, which this is the one, as you can see here, that was about the spiders and icky things have been blocked off, and the Tree of Life around the backside also has these coverings, and as this is in the exit to the tree area, and you can see the tree through the netting here. It really kind of changes the atmosphere and the vibe of the place to have this netting everywhere, but I guess if it's necessary, then they don't want to take any chances. Now, in some cases, what they've done is walled off some of these trails so they don't have to build netting over everything. Here at Guest Relations at Epcot, this has probably been here for years and years, and I just don't come to Epcot too often before noon, but I've not seen before this little podium handing out the buttons. Now, the buttons you do see very frequently at City Hall throughout the day. I've just not seen these podium out at Epcot's Guest Relations before, and I usually arrive around 1 or 2 rather than in the morning like I was for this day. Just a quick photo of something that's new and a really minor detail. If you look at this windsock, these have recently been replaced and they're bright pink now. It's Mother's Day coming up, so they're hawking Duffy the Disney bear in an extra special way. And Duffy, for that matter, we'll see a little bit more of later, is now being restricted in sales. There's a rumor out there, not yet confirmed, that the bakery, the patisserie bakery here, the Vie de France sponsored bakery, will be undergoing some construction and perhaps made into a larger environment here in the France pavilion coming up. At Innoventions, they have removed entirely the mention here of Habit Heroes, and so they had to build a brand new sign that ends with Vision House, and you see Habit Heroes remains behind those curtains and not accessible. At Test Track, they've removed the pizza cart. This zone here was formerly for the pizza, fast food pizza, and now it's just kind of an empty zone. And we are here over at the wine cellar in Italy, now named Tutto Gusto. This is a new construction next to Tutto Italia. And as we step inside, we see they have a lot of premium meats, premium cheeses. Get a close-up view there. Here's an example of, say, the polenta, the various wines that they have available for sale there. A very large wine list. They do encourage the cheese and meat plates, as well as the small little sandwiches, I guess they are. This was $12, for example, for these 2 sandwiches and salads all put together. But, it's not a lot of food. It's just more like finger food. And then the full wine and full bar that they have here. This is a shot of the rest of Tutto Gusto, and as you can see, they really spent some time not just making the environment, but making it feel homey, making it feel authentic. They put work into the brickwork here, or the domed bricks in the back. Kind of a cozy little alcove in the back there. I'm going to have a shot around the other side here so you can see where the bar was. I just flipped around and took a picture on this side, and then through that doorway is Tutto Italia, as we're used to. Here's that shot I promised of Duffy. It seems they've now instituted a new rule where you can't buy more than 5 Duffy items at a time of the same item. Apparently people were buying a lot of them and shipping them overseas since they are so popular in Japan. That does it for this week. We thank you for your attention, and we will catch you next time.